세러데이 쇼다운 젠지 스포츠 대 디플러스 기아.
With fire down here in the bottom lane, now the question becomes, what do you play with this Elise?
Yeah, I feel like you can play a whole lot of things. I think already
Caitlyn?
this bottom lane's looking pretty scary on Nongshim's side. Caitlyn and the Elise going to mean that landing cocoons and traps and things like that will spell most of your health bar just disintegrating. And so Delight going to have that shield wall up as often as possible.
I also do think that Peanut will probably have to bail this bottom lane out a little bit. We'll see when that happens, if it's going to be, at a level 3 where he passed bottom, or is it going to be when they lane swap top side to try to get away from this Caitlyn, that Peanut's there to try to punish, because you can trust, I think, in this draft, in my opinion, even though Kingen is also a World's MVP and has been one of our best top laners this
Point
year.
of pressure on this map that they might be able to utilize. We'll just have to see whether they're going to be capable of doing so, or whether the orange tank is going to run on Griffin.
They didn't have, Delight wasn't there, so I thought Viper would probably, at best, auto once, or get a ward and then leave, but did decide to stay there and try to push an advantage without his Pantheon and lost his cleanse, so the power in the matchup.
Oh, Kingen actually finding a little bit of an angle here as they're both drinking their potions. There is the dash forward. Snip, snip, not going to have to hit the sweet spot, but as soon as you turn around, things get dangerous, thankfully for Kingen at the same time.
Well, Hens is coming too, so I don't think that Peanut can stay here long term, in fact.
Yeah.
So that's just going to be that.
I think they get wind of it. And also there is vision down already. Zeus is going to have information if he needs it. Slahen's going to take a rock to the face, and the seismic shove does not land. So a lot of jostling for position, and not a lot of actual ground being made on either side, but every one of these shock blasts really feels important. But he's still having a good time, as this is what we were talking about. Peacemaker is kind of guaranteed when the cocoon does land.
Good moves there from Gio. Does space with a net. Does get out of the engage angle there and the range of Viper. So dancing around that fight, but they still have control of the choke point right now with this really strong bot duo.
Oh, another shove is a little bit optimistic there, as Peanut was in position. Looking to try and go on to Calyx, who does have an old magic mantle. That's really going to be helping out.
Yeah, and now, as Peanut, you're like, what's my angle? Delight can't go through here, has to walk around the other side. Lehen's blocking him completely, and just, there really isn't one. It's like, I hope Calyx makes a mistake. That's the best we can hope for.
Well, Peanut going to get engaged on here. Lehen's going to get engaged on here by Peanut, as the cocoon is going to be traded. And Lehen's just buying time so that these grubs go over. There was a bit of a scuffle there towards the bottom as I was watching this spider scuttle away. And Gideon, he knows exactly what he wants. He eats the stun there as well, gorgeously. That's first blood, just nabbed by Lehen's. And Zeka now at 200 health. The Noodles are really cooking well today.
Yeah, and I think Hanwha Life really shouldn't have tried to stick around and try to force a play there in the mid lane. And Peanut is also just dead, right?
There's the flash over from Zeka, but the flash in answer from Calyx. Zeus will put down the rise and now looks for even more. Oh my god, this guy's Jace is so scary. But, Gideon gets out, but does have to invest a lot, as now it's his turn to come on over and pay a visit to Peanut. He'll pick up a rock. And you can see Peanut not actually going to be able to stand his ground. Wall comes up here towards the top side, as now Lehen's could be in trouble. The threaded volley comes down, but it splits off this spider.
Well, and that's a successful play there on the top side.
Oh god, Kingen actually trading quite nicely here, as the needlework going to be avoided. Gideon's making his way down though. And the Impale will be moved out of the way of, and now Zeus is going to turn it. This time no flash for Gideon, and this guy's Jace is just too good. The Realm Warp does come in, and now they're still in trouble. How is Zeus going to outplay this? That's the question I have on my mind. The answer is, I guess we just shoot him a bunch of times. As down goes the Gwen, he's immortal.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best top laner in the world, his name is Zeus. What an insane play. A really nice play, then outplays it. Buying the space here against the Gwen, waits for the mist, hits the shock blast, transforms, goes in for a bit of a trade here. And then, most importantly of all here, look at this sidestep on the Impale. Goes low. This is a picture as Peanut counter gank, right? He shows up on time. And then, Calyx is here. What are we going to do? How are we going to outplay this? Waits for this Gwen to close the gap. Peanut zoning as they try to clear the wave here. Gets the transformation in. Spaces perfectly. My god, I can't even believe it watching in his first-person view.
No, it's really ridiculous. As Kingen, feeling a little bit sheepish after that one. Oh my goodness. There is the Chains of Corruption here towards the top side as well. Lehans gets his health bar cut in half.
Zeus didn't have flash.
So well.
He didn't have flash, by the way. Still lives.
Yep.
He's not afraid of anything. He's like, if I die, I'm taking you with me. Don't die, by the way. I don't die. I don't do that.
Side of the map, there is only a 3 CS difference.
I mean, Gideon, he was like, you die 100% if I put the Impale here. Even if you avoid it, you're going to walk back towards the Glen. He still lives. Insane, insanity.
He's a really good player.
Yeah, he's very important.
Yeah, I would say important is certainly the right word.
That might be like underdoing it, but...
right now he's completely controlling this lane. There is no way that King can walk up anymore. It's kind of like the ship has sailed on being able to honestly top lane in this game.
Yeah, and Zeus, he picked this knowing the Gwen was up. He was happy to do it.
Yep, Chains of Corruption going to connect here as there's Glacial Prison as well. The Chain CC onto Calyx. He is trying to run his way out, but doesn't have flash, and that's Viper
something
picking
here with
it up.
Lehens anyways. Looks like they're just going to try to zone while he does Dragon. He is a Skarner, though. I'm not sure if this is actually going to work out.
Yep, Realm Warp is going to bring Calyx in.
Interesting interaction.
Going to be in the pockets of Nongshim.
And they do not commit to try to contest the Dragon, even though they had a little bit more control down there. Vision was Nongshim's as Calyx wants to fight.
Yeah, he's looking for the angle here. Does land a bunch of the Qs, not that last one though.
Trade soul laners hitting turrets.
Yep, and they knew that they were all going to be waiting there, but the Gwen is still going to die. Gideon gets into position, but not going to be able to find anything. The Impale comes out, he holds 2 in position, and Viper just kills him. So, despite the fact that this was all information that they had, they're not really going to be able to do anything about it, and that is going to be feats of strength going on over to HLE at the same time as they take first turret.
Yeah, this is just more power in the setup here for Nongshim, whereas Calyx and Lehen, sure, they're happy
They do have the first Dragon, so not without anything, as now Zeka could be out of position, does have his flashback available as the Cocoon catches him, and he has to invest the Summoner spell. Lehen's Elise, man, is really, really good.
Yeah, really nicely played. He has the Rocket Belt as well, but now guess what? We're doing it again.
Well, Calyx, they're going to have to dive him if they want to grab this kill, and he's able
to. There's a flash, you know? That's the best you can hope for right now. Viper on 3 kills.
Oh, Lehen's going to find him once again. This time, the Cocoon is not going to connect, and the Chains of Corruption does. So Viper just kills him.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was alluding to. I was like, Viper has 3 kills, so I don't know if you can find anything on him anymore. Lehen said, well, give it a good old college try.
Yeah.
And
not sure about that.
Viper said we don't call it that here.
I feel as well like perhaps the early plays from Zeus were a little bit much, as, yeah, Viper just kills it.
Super casual.
And okay, Skarner going to make his way in. Gideon going to see what he can find, as there is the flash having to be invested. Get out of the way of the Impale. So Gideon making that one work quite nicely. Realm Warp to try and get Calyx in there, but he just forgoes that whole idea. As Peanut coming down, Seismic Shove will go wide. Lehens is able to escape the area. 40 seconds on the Dragon, which is why they're getting position around this river right now.
A lot of question mark pings on the top side of the map, as Peanut is just going to go ahead and take his top wave until just now. They both have TP for this Dragon, as Peanut is going to clear this ward, and...
Yeah, and I think the Elise is dead, ladies and gentlemen. Not even given the option to use Repel, because he's just dead. Not even able to go into Spider Form.
Peanut was on the ward he was clearing. It wasn't a mystery. So he cleared the ward and cleared the Lehens.
Yeah. And that's a happy Penguin, as that's going to be the end of that turret, utilizing the Rift Herald very nicely. And all of a sudden, this game went from being Nongshim had some like cool things that they were able to do to this game is really almost over.
Yeah, I think we know who the great challengers are in he destroys Lehens.
Lehens, of course, is just happy to keep going in as he flashes. Does get ignited and does go down to the last tick there from Delight. Zeus moving on over as well, as then the Impale does come on down. Do they manage to get it? And yes, it's Chiu getting a really nice combo there. Now in the brush trying to line up these headshots, but I don't think Nongshim are going to have too much more. Zeka not even able to throw Jiu through the rocks because Jiu's already trying to get the heck out of there, and they will lose. Everything is blue on the bottom of my screen, Wolf. That's the dangerous part, as Realm Warp to try and bring them in. But Gideon is going to find himself out of position. He will have to flash. Glacial Prison connects onto Lehens. Lehen's probably happy to tank that one up.
I mean, Viper's got his Edge of Night. Like, who do you even kill here? How do you even get past Peanut?
Well,
good luck.
I think they're going to try and send someone.
They don't even have Realm Warp.
And Gideon is here. Does have Smite, as now the Weaver's Wall to try and break them apart. Great seismic shove will connect at the same time as they're also able to take down the Otacon. I don't think you're supposed to be able to do that as Lahen's going to get slowed down by Peanut. He takes a lot of damage as the Grand Starfall does come in. I think these withdrawals are going to start coming through thick and fast, but there are some kills at the same time as Jiu trying to stand his ground, and it's not quite working. The flash out there as Zeka finds a great angle for the seismic shove, and somehow be allowed to carry here for this team. 5-0-5 right now on this champion as Lahen's going to go up into the sky, try to avoid some things, but then gets hit by everything and the kitchen sink. As Zeus, he takes the turret shot, some sort of skill shot, but it's not going to take any more damage. Here as the seismic shove brings Kingen back into melee range with Zeka, and this is the state of the game.
Yeah,
Talia is happy to go face first into a Gwen.
If they had a wave, like we might actually be talking about this game is in fact ending now. As at least they get something back on the other side. They force the teleport. They will get this bounty.
Yeah.
And there's not going to be a punish here, but you know, the rest of the map is blue. The rest of your screen is blue. Lahen's is going to make it slightly less blue, but then...
Oh dear, he's just going to die. Wow, you blink and you miss it. He's 1-7. Of course, 9 deaths was the Beryl special in the game that they were actually able to win. HLE, though, is now Gideon. Going to drive on forward, looks for Zeka, doesn't get the wall stun though, as Delight also holding onto the engage option, but they do just throw the Skarner back. Zeka is himself actually kind of gigantic right now, 3-0-5, and you can see Gideon unable to really stand against him. As okay, Grand Starfall going to come on through. Delight going to be alone though, as the Realm Warp going to be utilized. That brings Calyx over. Delight does kill the Skarner, but he trades 1 for 1, and maybe with how far Nongshim are behind, this could be a good outcome.
Yeah, I think they gotta have a little fun. Calyx is not having a little fun.
No, this is, he's dead.
I really didn't think this was going to be the series that was...
Perhaps Kingen is also dead, as, he did have some mist for a few moments, and Viper did go relatively low. There's the flash forward from Lahen's. He knows this is all he wants. He just wants to kill Viper. Top of the morning too, says Peanut, Bristle able to be here and not going to be contested by Nongshim either, as we have a 9,000 gold lead. It's almost 10.
I mean, this is not the series I thought that was going to look like this. I thought, but whichever way you want to look at it.
Yeah,
Peanut.
One of those is Peanut's going to get a cleanse out of Jiu, and they do manage to separate the Elise. It looked almost like they were apprehensive, like, do we have to kill him again? And the answer was they may as well. Impale going to come on through, but the seismic shove just pulls Viper out of the maw of death. Peanut there to stand in front of him yet again. Protect the president is absolutely right as Zeus dives in on top of Jiu, and Zeka will be able to finish him off. The Jace will be the noble sacrifice this time around, but the Nexus is still going to fall here, and HLE not pulling any punches here in round 2 as the sad B comes in for Kingen just before the Nexus does go down.
혜택 볼 때 있고 공 10초거든? 네, 클리드 있어. 오케이, 클리드 받았고. 엘리스. 미드로 끝내면 할 거다. 가볼게, 미드로. 스카너 공 있고, 풀공. 난 피하긴 했는데 타워 탱해줄게. 뺐다. 아니? 캐틀 노스펠. 맞아줄게. 노스펠이야? 캐틀 노스펠. 들어가고 제이스. 나이스. 타워. 조인 공 있다. 공 없어. 왜 나한테 줘. 아무나 찍으면 연계돼. 이거 아깝다 진짜. 스카너 인생 끝난 거 아니야. 조인 잡을 만한데.
Worrying.
I'm like a little scared.
Yeah, this the top heaviness situation. Moving towards MSI, that feels great, you know?
Yeah, do you remember,
there's 2 teams that are going to that tournament.
Do you remember when there was that Pogst episode a while back when Genji was winning everything, and I was like, are they trivializing the LCK? Like, do we even want to watch the LCK when we know Genji's going to win? It's not going to be. Now we got 2 of those teams. Going to be as Kingen is trying to figure out where everyone is going, and he'll just pick what is arguably very safe in this Ambessa.
Huh.
So does this really give us... Does this actually even solve anything? Okay, that's solved.
I kind of thought it was going to be Rakan because there was no way to stop it from being available. And now I guess it is just going to be blind top lane Nidalee, and then Peanut's playing his very famous Maokai that he has barely lost any games on, and Zeka is on his Yone that we know him
I'll be
well,
honest,
you could say.
I think the Xayah is very safe into Ambessa, into Shijao, Ahri. Like, I feel like that pick makes a lot of sense. We know Zeka's an incredible Yone player, and Yone pairs really well with Maokai. Like, there's a lot of power in this draft, but I do have some questions about how the Nidalee is going to function here.
Counter pick. But that's not what we were talking about at the start of this game. We were talking about Zeus being a great counter picker, and instead just first picks the Nidalee. This is crazy. Let's get into
He
it.
does with it. I'm looking forward to this thing. With Grasp, you know, standard stuff here. Just going to try to space. I don't think this is a winning matchup, but he clearly feels confident in it.
Yeah, and he is going to be able to put a lot of pressure on. You can see already farming these Grasp stacks quite nicely. The Ambessa wanting some extra buttons. I feel like the all-in probably going to be an angle that King can get some work done in. Yeah.
But then wake up and become an elite team and win everything else as...
Got some grand entrances, some pulverizers traded. And Lahen's looking a little worse for wear. Does have that triumphant roar to help get some of the health back.
Look like they're going to have an interaction here.
Oh, headbutt pull. Hands on to Viper once more. Ju not exactly offering too much back here, as now Kingen gonna have to move on down. Wind becomes lightning, and we'll see whether the Ambessa can get anything done now, as that is already a kill onto this Xin Zhao. Kingen trying to do it, but he does not manage to, and Calyx will finally get in and take down the pesky Nidalee. But once again, it's Zeus in a ridiculous position extremely early in the game, and they even get another kill. Zeka also finds himself ahead.
Crush, but if you space it well, you can continue to build advantages like this.
And it feels like Kingen just kind of has to fight all the time.
Yeah,
otherwise, the Nidalee just throws sticks at him over and over again. You kind of do nothing about it.
You kind of just got to dash 7 times and hope that some of the dashes hit the Nidalee and you do some damage while you're doing it. Otherwise, she just kind of keeps throwing sticks at you.
Yeah, and then you just hope that the minion wave also dies while you're dashing past it, and then you don't need to worry about lane control and manipulation and stuff like that at the same time.
Only about 14 minions didn't die so far. That's actually kind of a lot.
Yeah, this is it's starting to really get away from itself. Is also with a Sheen done.
No flash.
So scary. Good charm from Calyx. Use some games in the middle portions of it. As Twisted Advance there from Peanut, as the Audacious Charge does come on through. Decent trade back there from Gideon.
And Calyx does not have teleport, so this wave is going to crash into his turret, which means he can't really join for grubs.
Yep, level 6 done here for Kingen, but you can see he's not going in. I don't think he's publicly executing anyone.
Gideon just wants to get one and get out. Get one and get out. Yep. He's not going to get it.
Oh, actually just flashes on top of Zeka. They're going to see whether they can find it, but he does get out of the way of Lahen's. Now Calyx moves over once again. Gorgeous ulti. Of course, Zeka lines it up, but Calyx has the answer. Wind becomes lightning, does a fair bit of damage, but it's not quite enough to get anything back, and now the re-engage comes through. They're looking for Peanut. Headbutt pulse comes through, and there are still some charges on this Spirit Rush. Calyx going in, but it's 1 versus 3. Can he get the true damage? He does, but not quite able to get much more. And Zeus now is 0 mana up against the young gun of Nongshim.
Calyx looking really good in this fight, but also here, and buys enough time for Calyx to show up. It's a beautiful ultimate from Zeka, but Calyx is still here with the outplays. The Xin Zhao, so difficult to take down, and now he's got 3 charges of Spirit Rush for the ensuing fight. Grub's going down alive. Gideon gets the first.
Yeah, headbutt pulverize onto just Peanut here as Gideon going to knock up Lahen's. Lahen's still alive, still thriving here as we can see. Kingen moving over. The Banana Brush, great angle for a public execution as now Calyx and Zeka fighting. Zeka with the inside track there as over they go. Kingen actually dancing around this fight quite nicely. Peanut getting taken low, pulverize only onto 1 as the exhaust through onto Zeus. And Zeka getting pulled back with the charm, but they are just being separated and destroyed. Sapling gonna slow up the Ambessa as he makes his way back, but Lahen's kind of sacrificing himself. And HLE will be able to get the prize.
Yeah, this time looking a little bit less good for the engage there to go back in for Nongshim.
All right, Zeka also finding himself the knock-up with the Q. Sunbound the Soul, just trying to get a bit of damage back here. And he's 3-1-2.
Yeah, he is getting to be of significant size.
Yeah, G with the sidestep there is pretty nice. Gideon going to be able to secure his own blue buff. That's good as well. As another Pulverize going to get a Feather Storm out of Viper, actually, as they look to avoid the Feathers, doing nicely there. And so ulti advantage now available for Gio as Kingen underneath the turret. Gideon going to have to try and turn this fight onto Peanut before Zeus makes his way over. But the problem is, Zeus can pounce in from a very long way away, and he gets his 4th kill of the game.
Yeah, this is starting to look like it's all over but the crying at this early stage as Calyx is the only good shining light.
Ulted by Zeka, and Zeka just finishes him off. That's a solo kill. And
for the Ambessa, and it's not going well as we're going to watch Zeka's first-person view on the solo. Q3, his ult is back up. Does enough damage here, flashes out, but guess what? All you got to do is rebind, baby.
Yeah, and this is actually what we were noticing.
The map, the Zeppize, and the Zeppize is It's pretty hard to beat. Only Genji has done it so far this season.
Zeka giving the happy bee to his former teammate. Actually very, very cute.
Yeah.
As they're fighting a little bit. It's feeling a little unfair, as we can see. Zeka pretty far ahead. Nice little dodging done by Kingen.
I wonder how Nongshim get back in this game outside of some sort of crazy mistake, some happy gaming from Hana, which we have seen. To see the Nongshim win, Zeus just doesn't care.
Well, he's going to get pulverized. Headbutt back.
Wait, maybe
gonna
he's
come
care.
through there as there is June now chasing after him. Can he actually die? That is the question. Primal Surge is not enough, and there he goes. It's not enough to certify, but it's a shutdown. It's a lot of gold, and it's on a Zeri.
That's a small win here. You know, that's a Zeri in the lead. We got a second gold lead.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it.
And there are also players in other places around the map that are doing things for Nongshim at the same time. Yes, Peanut will be able to grab some grubs, but I don't think end of the world as far as cross-map opportunities are concerned.
You already got one. This time we learned.
Salty to come through there from Calyx. That's beautifully done. He knows that he just needs to buy a little bit of space here, as he will force the Yone to go back. And they lose feats of strength there at the same time, as Zeka almost finds that knock-up. That was very cute. Thankfully, the charm will connect this time. So Calyx not going to be taking...
hold on, we don't have time to remember.
There are a lot of people here around there. Flash, Spirit Rush Flash is pretty nice, and in fact, Delight is in trouble. Pulverize is gorgeous from Lehens. Really set up to make sure that he's down, as Spirit Rush is going to get another charge, and another charm comes in, another Pulverize lined up, and Peanut could be in trouble. In fact, oh my god, I don't know how that worked.
TP though, TP maybe. Maybe Kingen gets him. Maybe Kingen gets him. Kingen, how many dashes you got?
Well, he's Ambessa. He's got a lot. Is going to go for the public execution on Zeka. Wants that extra money, but Zeka able to ult his way out, and Peanut is a lumbering tree.
He wants it. He wants it. He wants... I don't know if he can have it.
He's still going to be able to kill Peanut here, likely. Okay, never mind. Zeka is still alive. So, yeah, still here. Does get a nice little knock-up as the charm comes through once again.
Hey, Zeka.
Yeah.
You know?
They did.
Calyx still has a gold lead. And the Nexus is still alive, so I'm telling you, there's a chance.
Winnable. Yep, I'm gonna be right there with you. Winnable game. Zeka gonna look 3,000 gold gap in the top lane.
Yeah, you know, let's see what happens if she has to team fight, like I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
We'll see how good that looks.
I think if you've got 1 billion gold, you're probably gonna be fine. Is Jiu just gonna ult, and Gideon finds Zeka on the recovery, and that's a really, really nice kill to be picked up here. I don't know whether they're going to be able to get over and take the Rift Herald. That is going to be secured there by HLE as Public Execution gets Kingen in amongst it. Trying to keep them interested as best they can. But Lehens getting lower and lower. Jiu does not have the ulti now for this battle as Zeka gets into the backline. And Calyx will be able to spot him. Even able to avoid the Nature's Grasp. Very nicely done. Now the quickness comes in. Lehens does get charmed up. Delight will trade himself for it as Kingen trying to frontline as best he can. Jiu will send them back. That is an even... Zeka found his way back into the fight, but he did not, as we've got another one brewing. Great charm from Calyx once again. Pulverize going to land onto both of the supporting cast of HLE. And Peanut struggling once again, but it's a double knockup. There's the ulti onto 2, and Zeka just surgically removes the Zeri from the fight. And that takes so much of the steam out of Nongshim. They're going to have to back away. Lehens realizes he'll need to sacrifice himself as Calyx flashes right over the spear. Great charm is going to come through as now they're just desperately trying to keep themselves alive. They will be able to do so. Spear slightly going wide.
It is...
You feel like the vibes are different.
If you're on Nongshim, you're like, I'm trying so hard. This team's playing with the food and I'm the food. Unfortunately for him, and now is probably just dead. It's top of the morning.
Yeah, top of the morning too. It does deliver Peanut to the team. Charm is going to connect, but now Peanut taking it as an opportunity to engage. Jiu going to turn up though. Can he get into the right position? That's the question. Calyx moves out of the way of Delight, but the quickness does so much work. Meanwhile, into the backline goes King and finds Peanut at low health as they just desperately want to get on top of Jiu. He does skate his way out as the spear is not going to connect. In goes Gideon, and Jiu stands his ground. Delight going to get out of there, but the Nidalee not going to be so lucky. Viper also getting some value as the Dragon's going to spawn. HLE lose 1. Nongshim do give another kill over to their Zeri.
Yeah, now Zeri has Runins. You know, like, Jiu is actually starting to become very relevant in these fights, and I do think that Hanwha's lead feels no longer infallible now that she has those two, and we're looking at a Cloud Soul point here, but it's not a Soul, so
Okay, there's going to be a little crash into this turret. Gideon slowed down and now he's dead. There's just not really going to be much they can do about that one. Inner turret does fall down. Good Rift Herald value. A bit of a U-turn here from Peanut. As not entirely sure where he wants to go. He is also unsure himself as he does just cruise into this mid lane. Yeah, there's certainly some possibilities here. Zeka going to unbind. It's over, as we do have a couple of Spirit Rushes, only one more left, as the Charm's going to connect, but that ulti uninterruptible.
Still got an ult out of the Yone, but the problem is every time they get an even trade, somebody loses a turret.
Yeah, and they're going to look for a Constellation Peanut here. Let's see whether they can actually collect that one. Exhaust onto Zeka to avoid that damage, as Delight just going to play defense, and he plays it beautifully. Zeus now comes on over as Peanut eventually goes down. And it's now protect the president. Can they keep Gio alive is the question, as Viper has so many feathers doing so much work. Zeus and Kingen continuing to fight here, as now Viper with the feathers going to pull him back and take down the Xin Zhao. Public execution is not going to work here, as Zeus is tanking 2 turrets. He just flashes for the takedown and he'll collect it. And Gio, let's see what he can get done here, as Viper does fall down first. The feather recall almost secures
Who's
the
going to
end
defend
of
the
him,
base?
yeah, this is the problem. You may have sort of kind of done okay in a team fight, but you have not won the war.
Yeah, every single time it's like, oh, and then a turret explodes. They will save their base for now. I just feel like with 2 inhibitors down now, you can just avoid.
Now set up with the Mortal Reminder.
Yeah.
So not bad.
Feeling almost playable if you just cover the dead inhibitors up on your minimap.
Yeah, I think that if this was like Howling Abyss, it'd be kind of fine. The problem is there's way more map than that. And that's where they're really having some issues, is the Baron completely unseen by Nongshim. Gideon gonna try and get in there. If they can steal this away, then maybe there's an angle, maybe there's an option, maybe there's a way. Let's see what they can actually do.
This is risky for Hanwha, honestly.
It is. That's a flash charm to come through as Peanut getting taken down so incredibly low. Delight got it back, but Zeka finds 3 with a huge ulti. Calyx with his Zonyas though, and my god, this Ari is popping up, lands another charm. It's a triple for the young man in the mid lane. The gold is within 2,000 now. It is actually going to get evened out as Kingen heads up towards his top side. He's got 3 items almost completed. Serpent's Fang actually coming in as the second option is kind of interesting. Lots of shields to be taken down though, you'd expect. Yeah. Especially if he's 1v1ing against Zeka in a side lane, so it's somewhat understandable. As there's a flash in from Peanut looking for Calyx, but there's no follow-up, and Peanut is just dead.
I've seen this attempt before. We saw it earlier in the game, and Calyx this time doesn't need to flash to make the play happen.
Yep. I mean, I guess the thinking is that you cannot charm when he's...
that's the scary thing. Plus, Calyx is playing out of his mind. He has 10 kills on the R, and he's looking for more!
Another charm is going to connect, and that is the nerf to the Yone at work, ladies and gentlemen. Zeka will be removed, and this turret is going to follow suit. Nongshim are going to win this game, ladies and gentlemen. It is happening.
Are just kind of running it down. Like, what is happening? Like, what was that? Why are you out there? Calyx getting disrespected, and he's showing you why you should respect this young player.
10, 2, and 6, Wolf. He is 16 out of 18.
Because they lost too many team fights. This is another Calyx highlight angle here. Gets the charm in the rebind, and then Kingen max range follow-up with Lahen's confidence. Of course, and his raw mechanics we knew he always had. Looking for a catch here on a Gio, potentially.
Oh no, he's able to skate his way out. Has he actually built enough distance, though, is the question, as the Nature's Grasp Spear not going to connect there either, as Lahen's, his health bar, very important. Kingen.
He doesn't have a great teleport angle as Lahen's going in.
Yeah, it's only a pulverize onto 1, and that's an ult onto 3 from Zeka, but he immediately goes down. They take the cow, and the Zeri's got 2. Public execution comes through at the same time as up goes the Zeri, and down she goes, but they've got more damage. Zeus is not enough. He is just 1 Nidalee against the world, and over the wall they go, and they take him down. 7.8k damage for the... That is going to be inner turret falling down here.
20 seconds on Elder.
It's now a 5,000 gold lead for Nongshim. Not that gold really matters right now, as Lahen's just pressing the headbutt button because he can, as Calyx is a madman. They have Elder Dragon, of course, so it's not exactly that crazy to go for fights, as Peanut sets up the Nature's Grasp. Charm not going to connect this time around, as in goes Zeka, but they do find a great redemption for the extra health, and now Gio all the way out the back.
Yeah, he's like all 3 waves are at least at the midway point of the map before they do anything.
Well, Gideon actually going to go in, as there is the flash pulverize onto Peanut. Extendo beam coming on forward as Calyx finds yet another gorgeous charm, and they end the jungler. And Zeus, he's on the bottom side of the map. Nongshim, they understand they need to send someone home. They could lose most of their base off the back of this one.
Zeus also backing.
Another beautiful redemption angle here.
Kingen has TP.
Another inhibitor turret to go down.
Hanwha are going to have to make an engage happen here soon. They're going to have to make a tough call. Delight and Zeka, they're at the forefront of this. They're looking at the fishing. He's just saying you can't actually push to get this inhibitor.
Well, that's a Hex Flash and Headbutt Pole, but Zeus just able to get himself out of the way there. The Orbit Accept
Elder,
does a lot of damage.
Elder?
With Lehens here, though, this is Zeus actually buying a lot of space. The Elder has been started as Redemption just to clear up the health bars of Lehens and Calyx, but can they get here in time is the question. As Gideon goes forward, he pulls Peanut out as the Twisted Advance comes on in, and it is the Elder secured by HLE. Now Kingen looking to get on top of Viper despite the fact that the Dragon's getting angry. And Calyx, can he be the hero again? I just don't think he can. As Extendo Beam not going to be taking down this tree, and despite everything that Nongshim were able to do, they just lose. So maybe these minions are killable. The Calyx is really going to have to rely on these Nexus turrets, and Zeus is not going to let him. Charm is going to go wide, and the Dragon is just burning him down. And I think Nongshim, they know that this was a decent effort, just not quite enough to take down HLE here today. Down the Elder Dragon, that's when it's all done and dusted, but my God,
weirdly,
look at that damage.
Weirdly,
and they lost with a gold lead.
Yeah, weirdly, no comms for that last play. That tells you enough that it was probably really heated in the moment, how intense it was, how the game state had gotten to the point that it was. Hanwha Life probably yelling real loud and coordinating that last fight, but Zeus, not the team fight, Nilly still does twice as much damage as Kingen on this pick. A lot of it just hitting Kingen repeatedly in the lane.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Dear for the POM interview translation, joined by Zeus on the side of Hana Life Esports. Congratulations! Thank you. The first match of round 2. Hana takes the win to secure 9th consecutive victory. How do you feel? You know, there are many rough patches on today's match, but you know, it feels a little iffy, but I'm still happy that we were able to win today. And you've reached 500 POM points, right behind Chovy, who has 600 points. So does first place sound appealing? Chovy has been getting so many POMs. I haven't really thought much about it. In game 1, with Jace being left open, you locked him in blind as the B1 pick without hesitation. What did you think of them leaving Jace open? No, just thinking about what I could play well with in that game, I just thought that I would feel really comfortable playing Jace, so I think that's what really made me go with that pick. And looking at game 1, Jace usually takes Doran's shield or blade, but you started with longsword, so can you explain why? I think Jace, there was a trend where he would start longsword and 3 potions. And I feel like there are so many options, but I tried practicing with this build, and I feel like it actually did work well, just as practice on stage. And we saw some insane movement from you in game 1. Do you remember this part? Yeah. Can you walk us through this? No, I knew that they were coming to gank me, and I was just really trying to figure out how to flip this around, and you know, it actually just worked. So you even managed to get their flash out here. Yeah, that's right. And you moved forward here, so was that intentional? Yeah, I think I was just trying to really drag them in and make sure that they overextend, and I think I did my best in the worst possible situation. And in game 2, you played top Nidalee, but during the draft, we saw both Yone and Nidalee, and the Silas hover made us wonder which player will play what. Some serious mind games there, and so were you open to playing top Yone at all? You know, top Yone as a blind pick is a little overwhelming. And during the draft, We did think about flexing all these picks until the very end, until the 5th pick. And game 2 had some feisty plays by Nongshim with the kill score being 24-24, and you guys actually fell behind dangerously with almost 10k gold difference. So which part were you most wary of? I think when the enemy had both Baron and Elder, it actually made us feel a little scared. And last time we almost lost against them, so it actually did feel a little disappointing. So I think my role for getting today's win was just to be a pest and just be as annoying for them to deal with. And earlier, Owner was doing his match interview, and we heard you and Peanut whispering to each other behind Owner. So what were you saying? No, we're just setting up. And we can actually hear what they're doing and what they're saying during the interview, but we're just saying, why is it taking so long? So to keep this interview short, would you like to go ahead and give us a winning performance? We would like you to go ahead and do that. Can you give me a demonstration? 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much for that. I'm sure Owner very much enjoyed that. What a pleasant start to round 2 with a victory. You'll play all 8 teams again, so which team are you looking forward to playing the most? We lost against Genji, and I think I do look forward to our match against Genji, and also against D+Kia, because she was a really good player, so I would say that I'm really looking forward to those teams. And that's the end of the interview with Zeus, and back to the space. Thank you.